Hey everybody, it's Sophie and Marco, Dish Out on the Movies. And today we're doing 2 reviews back to back.
No, we're not doing any reviews. We're doing a ranking.
Oh,
and then your stupid Saw Girls ranking at the end.
So we're doing 2 rankings. I apologize. I'm just so used to just doing reviews that...
And we are also going to be eating 2 Goosebumps gross foods. So the first one, do you want to do the hot one first or the cold one?
What is that?
That's the pumpkin juice. We'll talk about that.
You already made that?
Yeah,
Oh, God.
I work real fast. So the first thing, I guess, is Goosebumps Stay Out of the Basement. Safi said that the green goo they had in the episode's probably spinach souffle. So we got a spinach souffle and we're going to try it. I've never had it before. It smells terrible, though. I'll say that.
Years ago, and I loved it. It's Stouffer's.
Ugh.
And it was, we would have that, like for a vegetable.
I mean, it looks like a vegan, took a crap in a container.
We were not I've never been a vegan in my life. Sorry.
Oh, did you just listen to what I just said? Or
yeah, but
did you...
I know, but I don't know if vegans can have it because if there's milk in it or something, they're not supposed to have milk.
Wait,
right?
there's eggs in it.
Oh, eggs.
It smells horrible. It doesn't... It looks more like spinach scrambled eggs, so I don't think it's what they had in the episode, but we're going to try it anyway.
Well, who knows? I mean, if a vegan made it, they have all kinds of recipes.
Who knows who made it? I don't think vegans made it for the show.
Who knows? Oh, God. Just go ahead and try it.
You try it first.
Okay, great.
Here's your spoon. It's a big boy spoon.
It better be hot.
Here.
Oh, good, it is. Okay.
Well, it smells terrible. Can you agree on that? Like, it has a terrible smell.
No, not necessarily. Usually, if I don't like the smell, it usually doesn't taste good.
It smells...
It's been years, so I haven't had this in years.
It smells very suspicious.
So it's been around a while.
Ooh.
It's good.
Oh, gross. She's a plant person.
No, it's good.
Oh.
I'm not into spinach.
Okay, I'm gonna try it.
I mean, what's you want to just eat raw leaves? Oh, God.
I'd rather eat raw leaves than this.
No, they put lots of salt and stuff in it.
Oh yeah, there's way too much salt in this. There's like 1,500 milligrams of the whole container.
Is there? It doesn't.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. It's not oversalted.
Okay, I'm just
don't go ahead.
Okay, what do I picture while I eat this? Because I have to picture
No.
Okay, Willy Wonka has just said, Marco, this is a new candy we just made for you at the factory.
For heaven's sakes.
And it's gonna be good. It's gonna be, it's going into my mouth.
Cut it out. Don't spit in there. Okay, you're stupid. Oh, for heaven's sake. That's pretty good. Here, just give it to me. I'll put my spoon back in. I'll put it down by my soda.
You need your spoon for the other thing. Whoa.
Oh, okay, give it to me.
It tastes good at first, but then you taste the spinach taste. Well,
it's spinach souffle. Oh, for heaven's sake. You should see what he made for the other thing, and he made this.
Okay, so this is called pumpkin juice.
Oh,
it is from Still More Tales to Give You Goosebumps. It is the actual pumpkin juice. And I'm not going to say what's in it right now because Safi won't eat it if I do that.
Oh, great.
So
There's pumpkin in it, though.
Here's your big boy spoon. Here you go.
Oh, we're going to get spinach in it.
Take a big bite. It's pumpkin juice from the story Pumpkin Juice.
Ugh.
Don't double dip.
Honey. Ugh.
Honey?
Yeah, that's what it tastes like. There's honey in it.
Oh. Well, now I'm going to taste it.
Oh, God, that's worse.
Oh.
God, we are eating vegetarian food.
Okay, Willy Wonka just has a new product that's called pumpkin pie pudding pop.
Ugh. Gross.
That's not that bad
Oh, God, you can have it.
until you get to the end part where you can taste the stuff at the end. Okay, so
Yeah.
what was in that was pumpkin, which the pumpkin tastes really good. Like
It's like the can of pumpkin that you get for pumpkin pie at the store.
I could probably eat that like right out of a can because that's how good it tastes. But the other stuff that's in it is milk, molasses,
Okay, that's what it was.
chicken soup,
Chicken soup?
garlic salt, aka just it's supposed to be garlic.
Okay, how much chicken soup?
I don't know, like this much.
Oh. Is it powder, or you actually opened a can of soup?
I had to open a can because we didn't have any chicken broth. So.
Oh, no, we don't.
And then I think that's it. But that's what's in the pumpkin juice.
Oh.
And so in the story, what happens is they drink the pumpkin juice, or the main guy does, and then he turns into a monster. And the only way that he can turn himself back is he has to make another concoction. And so I thought it'd be fun to try that. Oh yeah, and butter.
Oh, God.
So that's the pumpkin juice. So anyways, we have a tier list. Now originally Safi was supposed to rank all the Goosebumps episodes. But she wimped out of it this year, so she has to do that next time because the whole point of watching those Goosebumps episodes at the beginning of the year was that so we could rank them all after she watched the ones that she never saw before. But then she just kind of forgot about that and said...
I can tell you the best ones right now.
No, don't do that.
Okay, well, I know, and I haven't gotten to watch all of them. I don't know why he thinks I can do that. But
You said you didn't. You said that these couple of ones were the only ones you didn't see. You lied.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
You must misunderstand.
We went through a checklist in 2021. We went through every single episode, and you said, "Oh, I saw that. I didn't see that." And the couple ones that we watched this year were the last ones.
Well, maybe I've seen more than I think, but it just doesn't seem like whatever.
Okay, so anyways, this is going to be my list, and I'm going to rank them all right now. And this is going to be the first ever tier list video on this channel. And so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tiers. The last one is called Fuck This and Fuck Sensitivity Readers Too. The next to the last one is Don't Go to Sleep or Watch This Episode. And then Curly approves. Curly is in the real Goosebumps mascot that we love and not a stupid Slappy who shouldn't be the mascot. And then the next one is Better Than Eating Worms. And then Awesome. Awesome. No ants involved. And then finally Slappy-tastic. So Night in Terror Tower... That's obviously in the Slappy-tastic. I mean, really, and I'm just going to call them from now on S, A, B, C, D, F, because that's really what they are, but I wanted to come up with those creative titles. Now, spoiler alert, An Old Story is my favorite episode, so... Attack of the Jack... Or, I guess I should say why. Well, Night in Terror Tower is a really good story. It's got some scary moments. I really like how they travel back in time. I thought it was really scary as a kid. An Old Story is just a really entertaining episode, and it has a really disturbing plot if you actually think about it. It's got a couple of good jokes in it. It's got some good comedy. It's got good horror. It's a perfectly balanced episode of Goosebumps. Like a lot of people, they just pretend like it's a comedic episode, and it's like, if you think about the plot, it's really not very comedic.
I want to say something about that, is that I just saw something on YouTube, and they, in England, they had found these bones of these two children, up in this tower of a castle, and they were trying to determine who they were. So that story could have a ring of truth in it if it had really happened. They got saved. But anyway, haven't got to see the rest of the story. So
okay.
I just wanted. I just saw that a few days ago.
Attack of the Jack-o'-lanterns next. That one's pretty good, so I'll put it in the B tier. It's got a good Halloween-y vibe. It's got some fun stuff in it. Like, it's hard to really go into like why these episodes are good or bad, because it's like it's really all subjective. And so, but Attack of the Jack-o'-lanterns, that would be a really fun watch on Halloween. And then Attack of the Mutant, that one kind of sucks, so I'm putting that in the D tier. That one just gets really goofy. I do like the love interest who then turns into the villain, but I didn't like the twist that she was the villain. I thought that was stupid, and I just thought the episode got really, really stupid at the end, and I'm just not a fan. Awesome Ants is an okay short story, but it's a D tier episode. It's really nothing special. Like, I would never watch it again, really, probably. Like, I'd rather just read the book with the short story in it. Now, Bad Hair Day, I actually have a lot of fun with that episode. I think that it's not the greatest episode, but it's also not the worst. It has some pretty bad acting in it, but I still have fun with it. Now, The Barking Ghost.
I said you didn't like that.
Safi, you let me do the list.
I know, but I remember that one in particular.
Now, I did like the book more than I expected, but the episode was just kind of there, and so I'll put it like in the D tier because it's not the worst. Like, it is very similar to the book, but the book is a lot better, so... Now, be careful what you wish for. That is one of my favorite episodes. It's not better than those other two above it, but I really love the story. I really think that it's a great horror story, and it's a great Goosebumps story. Very, very underrated. The book is not very good, but the episode is very good. Especially how they changed the ending, because at the end, in the book, the bully actually wishes for something bad to happen to the main girl, and so so she gets something bad that happens to her. Whereas in the episode, the bully, she wishes to be admired, and then she gets turned into a statue, and I thought that was a much better ending, honestly. Now, Bride of the Living Dummy, that one is really not great. I'm putting it below Bad Hair Day in the C tier. It's just not very it's just kind of there, and Slappy's good in it, but it's really kind of like a letdown, because it's a Slappy episode where most of it just revolves around like, oh, what's going on here? Is the Mary Ellen alive? And it's like, Mary Ellen kind of sucks. Like, her character's kind of trash. So, like, she was a big letdown, in my opinion. Like, I was really looking forward to that, too. And, I guess Jimmy O. James was good. And then I did like the ending. Well, actually, the ending was cheesy. Kind of bad. Calling All Creeps, that is a B episode. I will put it below Attack of the Jack-o'-lantern because it does kind of suffer from the fact that the book was not great as well, especially the ending, because at the end you don't even find out what happens. It's a very abrupt ending. But in Calling All Creeps, they did make a really good change that we talked about, or I talked about, where in the book, he puts the creep seeds inside the mac and cheese, and he says because no one at school eats mac and cheese.
Oh,
and that's just the stupidest shit I've ever heard.
I don't believe that for 1 minute.
And when I did that review, there was one person who commented and said they don't like mac and cheese, and they wouldn't have eaten it either. And it's like, well, that's the only person I've ever known ever who doesn't like mac and cheese, especially kids. So I liked how the episode changed it to the tuna surprise, which I wished I knew what that was, because it kind of looked pretty good, to me. Trilogy Part 1, that's one of the original episodes. I put that in the B tier below those other two. I actually just watched that yesterday. It's pretty good. It was a good idea to do this kind of miniature town story, but I feel like they kind of rushed it a little bit. Like, I wish that they did one episode each season for, like, each part of the story. So maybe that they could get feedback, because I thought, and here we go to part 3, which is going to be my complaint. Trilogy Part 3 is kind of a disappointing conclusion. Like, the whole episode is just not really, like, they hardly do much of anything, so I'll put it at the top of C tier. Like, the kids go there to Carlsville to rescue the little brother, and the whole episode is just him being taken around, and it's just really kind of stupid, and then he's going to be turned into a Carlsville citizen, and it's just not, like, great. And all the kids have to do is, like, pull some switches or something to turn off the machinery. Like, that's all they have to do, and then they run, and then they run away. Like, that's all they have to do. It's like, really? This was the conclusion? Like, what a letdown. Like, really weird. Like, they even had this thing where, like, they had this, like, pretty girl who's, like, the pretty girl of Carlsville, and she's riding around with the little brother, and she gives him a kiss on the cheek, and it was like, what is this? Like, this is just so stupid and weird. Like, like the kid, he was at an age where he did not, like, he would not really be into girls, and so it didn't make any sense at all, like, why. It just, I really, really weird, but it's not that bad. Now, Trilogy Part 2, that's one of my favorite episodes. It's not as good as the other 3, but it's still really good. And it's, of course, all about the baseball player kid getting sent into Carlsville, and then he has to play, like, a haunted baseball game. It's just so much fun. It's such a good idea. It feels kind of like a Twilight Zone episode, because everything in the baseball game just keeps going wrong for him. And he has to keep on, like, I mean, it's like the game's changing so that he won't win. So I really like that one. Now, Click, I would put that as below an old story, because I feel like this episode's really, really good. It was good in the book, but it was great in the episode. And of course, you have the main kid, and he gets that remote controller, and he can do whatever he wants. And I just thought, I don't know, there's just something about it where it's like, it's really rewatchable, and it's really cool, because you'd imagine, like, if I had the remote, what would I do with it too? Sophie, don't you have anything to add, or are you just going to sit there like a hobo?
I thought I wasn't supposed to say anything.
No, you're not supposed to tell me where to put things on the list, but you can say something.
I wouldn't know what to say. I don't think I saw all those Trilogy episodes.
You didn't see the Click one where it's like at the beginning?
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, so you like that one.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I was thinking it would be neat. They have all these mini villages, all different, like, companies, and, what is it? They have one, what, Department 56?
No, Click.
I know
We're talking about Click.
I know that, but I was wondering if they
miniatures.
use those ceramic, if they did the same kind of thing with one of these
I
ceramic
don't think
villages.
So. No, it was...
This was made,
It
right?
was like an actual town, yeah, and they made it, and I just thought it was really creative that they made this, like, original story that it honestly did feel like a Goosebumps story. So, the people that made this show, they knew how to make an actual Goosebumps, unlike the people who made the movie, the first movie, and then the shitty piece of shit show that we're currently reviewing.
Well, tell me something. In that last episode, you
Which
said...
one?
Trilogy.
Which one?
3? Is it 3 or 4 where all they have to do is turn off the switches? And
they have to, like, pull these switches so that they can't use the machinery to turn the kid into a citizen.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I saw that. So these switches, in terms of being big, like let's say you were standing and looking down.
Yeah, they're like huge switches. Why are you so obsessed with these switches? With these cords.
What they were for.
They have to pull out cords, not switches.
Oh, okay.
I guess I was thinking about switches as in like a switch that you could
like
go.
Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Oh no, I'm thinking about like on a train
like,
set.
in Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah.
And so, like, what would you do if you had the click remote controller? Because, like, I think it would be really fun to have that, like, because there'd be a lot of things you could do, and and a normal person wouldn't abuse that power. This piece of shit kid, this fucking jackass kid, he was full of himself, and he just abused his power, and it's really too bad what happened to him. But like, what would you do with the click remote?
Well, I know. I was thinking about Pleasantville. That movie Pleasantville, wasn't that due to remote?
Oh my God, Sophie, that's not the same thing as this remote.
No, probably not.
What would you do with the remote? That was my question.
I don't know. I hardly ever use the remote. Any remote. I just
you don't use it for the television. You use it for anything you want.
I don't know. It's helpful. Let's say if you're sick.
Oh my God.
Or something, and you're sitting on a couch, you don't want to get up and constantly F around with the TV or whatever.
I said,
just keep moving.
This is the click remote that you can do magic stuff with. This, like,
oh wow.
It's the Goosebumps.
Oh God, there's a lot of things I could do with that.
The remote, yeah. What would you do? Because like
groceries, get fast food.
No, you couldn't do that. But like, just think.
Do chores, laundry, do sweep, vacuum. Do the dishes, like that, like a chore remote.
You couldn't do that. Or
I don't know.
I don't know. Well, actually, you could. Or
it'd be like Bewitched when she wiggled her nose. Of course,
no.
Behind the scenes, what they did was, like, let's say the room was a mess. They have these cleaners. They rapidly clean the room up, and then it would look like she wiggled her nose, and it happened as a result.
And you're the one telling me to move on. And so, what you would probably have to have happen is you would have to be doing the chore, and then you would have to have me use the remote to speed up the chore. So, like, fast forward through the chore. That's probably what would have to have happen. I would probably, because you can use this on people. So, I would probably use this to put a couple of people on mute.
Now, that would be an idea.
Right?
Well, I could think of one in particular.
Yeah. And,
not the one you're thinking.
What do you mean?
I could think of one who's constantly on
no.
Chat every day.
Don't do that.
I won't say it. I just say I would definitely use it for that.
It'd be a very fun thing to use. So I guess that's what I'd use it for.
That would be a great thing to have.
Something that I think would be really cool is maybe if you're watching a movie, you could do something with the controller so that you're actually inside the movie while it's happening or something, and you're just watching it go on. You don't have to interact with it or anything. That'd be kind of cool. So the next one is Cry of the Cat. I fucking hate this episode. I'm putting that in the F tier.
Wow.
I really don't like anything about it at all. I think that it's terrible. It's not funny. The main girl is pretty good.
Is that an Asian girl? And she goes down the long flight of stairs.
The long flight of stairs.
Into the basement or something.
Into the basement.
Scratched.
What?
Whatever.
I don't know. She gets scratched at one point. It's Cry of the Cat. I mean, what do you think is going to happen? She was pretty good. I liked her. I didn't like anything else about the episode. It's some sort of stupid parody on, like, making movies or something. It's just, it's like, this episode just sucks.
Doesn't sound good.
Now, Deep Trouble, and also the effects in Cry of the Cat are terrible. With the mom at the end where she is like a cat person. Like, that's some of the worst effects I've ever seen. which is strange because the people who did the show, they were really good at doing special effects. So next up is Deep Trouble. I would give that like a C. I would put it above Bride of the Living Dummy, because it also has some bad effects, but it's kind of like a combination of the first two books, and it's okay. It's just, it could have been better. I did feel like, though, that they did do a good job at, like, at least trying to turn the books into a horror movie Goosebumps story. You know, like, in those books, the Deep Trouble books, they did not feel like Goosebumps horror at all. They felt like adventure, sci-fi, and at least the episode felt like a Goosebumps. So Don't Go to Sleep, that one is like a guilty pleasure. I mean, it is very, very bad, but I would give it like a C, and I'd put it below Bride, because it has a lot of fun stuff about it, like the reality police. Like, you know, they have that song playing, like, that's reality! Remember that, Safi?
No.
That's reality! And the reality song is playing, and then, like, really, really bad. But really, really funny. The next one is Don't Wake Mummy. I love this episode. I think it's a lot of fun. I would put it above Calling All Creeps. I love the sister in this episode. She's kind of like a bully, and she likes horror movies. And then I thought it was a really good Mummy episode, especially compared to that other shitty Mummy episode that we'll get to. You know, I really thought that it's also better than some of those crappy, boring Universal Monsters Mummies movies. So I really like this episode a lot. I think it's kind of underrated, but the twist at the end with the mummy cat was stupid. It made sense, but it was still like really goofy. Now Ghost Beach, that's a C. I put it above Don't Go to Sleep. The book I really like, and I think it's heavily underrated, but the episode is just kind of mediocre. I like the twist they did with the cousins at the end, I guess you'd say. They did a little switcheroo there with something that they did. I guess that was good, but this episode... Now, The Ghost Next Door... That episode is a masterpiece. I would put that in the S tier below Trilogy Part 2. Very, very good, like, character-driven episode. I really like the story. I really like the music. So I love that episode. Great episode. Now, Go Eat Worms. That episode's a lot of fun. But it is just a C, for sure. It is a very gross episode. It's kind of a goofy episode. I really wish that they had committed to some more ideas too, like they, committing to those giant worms. Like, where did they come from? Like, and it was so easy for him to just get out of that situation. I wish that this would have been like a two-parter or something, so that they really could have fleshed out the story. Now, the Haunted House game, that one's a lot of fun. I would put that right in the C tier below Bad Hair Day. And
Bless you.
That one is just kind of goofy, good fun. You know, like they're playing a board game and then they have to do this, like, it's like a game show. But that's my issue with it, is that, you know, it is like a game show. It's not like a really good, like... You saw it, Safi. We watched that earlier this year.
Yeah, but I have not, my memory of it, of all of that is not as good as yours. Oh, I remember now. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. And it is just really like a C. Like, there are much better episodes. But it's not bad, you know.
No, it's not bad.
A lot of people don't like it, so... but Haunted Mask 2, we know where that's going. S tier. Below The Ghost Next Door. This is a classic Halloween episode. It's so much fun. It's kind of dark. I really liked, the old man mask with the spiders in his hair.
Well, it was so good. They put it on prime time.
It was really, really, creepy. And I think it's actually kind of better than the first one, in a way. Because
I love the first one.
Well, the first one's really good, too, obviously. How to Kill a Monster, that one's just mediocre. I'd put that in the D tier at the top of it. The book was not very good. It had a great premise, but the plot was really, really kind of lame. And, the episode was lame, too. It's just too bad that it's the only Goosebumps that takes place in New Orleans, or Louisiana, and this is what they do. Like this crap.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
What a great place to do a Goosebumps episode.
Yeah, Louisiana is the best place to do anything. Right, Safi?
It would be a great place. I mean, considering all their history.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
Now, It Came From Beneath the Sink. That is a fuck you. Because this episode, they just ruined that book. And the book is one of the best books of the whole series. Mm-hmm. And I can't stand how they ruined it. It's fun to see Catherine Isabel as a kid in this episode. And to see how she got started. But this is a terrible episode. Really, really bad. I hate this episode. It's probably the worst episode. But I don't know. Let's get Invisible. Let's just go ahead and put the Invisible episodes in the D tier. Where's the other one? My Best Friend is Invisible. Yeah,
Which one's worse?
I don't know. They're the Invisible episodes. Fuck, who fucking cares?
They're both the same.
They both suck. Well, they're different, but who cares? I don't want to watch either of them again. They both suck. Monster Blood, I would give that a C. It's nowhere near as good as the book. They really ruined a lot of the good stuff they did in the book, too, so I would put it, above Haunted House Game. More Monster Blood is, more fuck you, because this is nothing like the second book, because they didn't have the money to make the second book, and, so they just decided to make, that Twilight Zone episode, a kind of a rip-off of it with Monster Blood. And it just, I hate it. I hate this episode, but it's still better than the F episode, so I'll put it there, below Attack of the Mutant. My Hairiest Adventure should have been called My Biggest Fuck You, because this episode sucked, and it was a huge disservice to the book, which I think that the book gets a bad rap. The book was a very fun experience, and I really felt like the episode did not do the book justice, because they really sped past all the events in the book, just sped through them, and so yeah. Night of the Living Dummy 2, is that one? Yeah, that's that one. I give that one a low B, below Trilogy Part 1. The fact that they wouldn't adapt the first book, I felt was a really stupid thing. The first book, at least the story would have been a lot better than this. And it's funny, too, because the second book is, one of the best books, but this was just kind of there. It was an okay episode, but it was kind of goofy. It was kind of, cheesy and corny, and, especially the stuff with the talent show, where it's here's mom sticking to her diet, and she's eating all this ice cream, and then here's dad trying out his new hair, and then he's putting on a wig or whatever, a toupee, and that was it was really funny, but this episode it's not top tier, let's just say. Night of the Living Dummy 3, though, is definitely top tier. That episode is phenomenal. And it is really... this is why people love Slappy, is this episode. It's so much fun. The characters are great, except for the awful parents. And
someone with Zane.
Yeah.
And, of course, that's the guy who played Darth Vader. right?
He played Anakin, who became Darth Vader. Yeah. His name is Anakin, Safi. Anakin! And in this episode, he's a wimpy little bitch. But, oh wait, then he kind of isn't. And it's like, his character was cool. I wouldn't have had him play Darth Vader, though, after seeing the episode. Like, that's for damn sure. Next up is Horrorland. Now, that is obviously going in the S tier. And I know you're thinking, like, what episodes are going to be in the A tier? Well,
I was.
Really?
Yeah, I was wondering.
Well, we'll see. I mean, actually, Horrorland can go in the A tier because this episode is a lot of fun again, but I really liked the first half of the episode better than the second half. In the second half, they did the whole game show thing, and it got a lot more silly. The second half was not really as good as the first half, so that's why I'll put it in the A tier. But it was still really, really good, and I definitely watch it again. I mean, I think my favorite part is when they order the two drinks. Like, I think Monster punches, and then one of the monsters, he opens up his fingernail, and he squirts out all this juice from underneath his fingernail. And I just thought that was like the grossest thing I ever saw as a kid. And I was like, what was that? Like, I would never drink a Monster Punch, right, Safi? Would you?
No.
No. Now, Perfect School, that one is going straight to the S tier. Below Be Careful What You Wish For. This episode is fucking incredible because it's one of the few episodes of the series where you had a really badass main character. You know, the main character in this episode, he not only gets away, but he escapes the Perfect School and he pulls off this amazing switcheroo. And to the point of where he's at home and he's tricking his parents that he's been turned normal and that he's a better kid now, and he still gets to prank his brother. I mean, this main character, he is a badass character, and so that's why I'm putting it in the S tier. Phantom of the Auditorium, that episode's a lot of fun. I would put it above Trilogy Part 1. I really don't like the girl in this episode that they got. You know, the main girl, she's very annoying. She's very, she's not a good actress, and she stopped acting after this episode, of course.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And she had a really annoying scream. But the one thing that I did like was the fact that they changed the teacher and they made her a lot more likable, because in the book, the teacher in the Phantom of the Auditorium is just awful. Next up is Piano Lessons Can Be Murder. That one is an A tier episode. This one was one of the creepier episodes as a kid. I really got creeped out by Dr. Shriek. But at the same time, this episode was nowhere near as good as the book. And I really felt like they did a disservice to the book, and I felt like too, like if they made a good show, Piano Lessons Can Be Murder would be one of the episodes that I would want to see redone, because it takes place during the winter. It was a lot scarier in the book. The ending was really hardcore. You know, you have all these people with chopped off hands, and there's blood everywhere, and they're ghosts, and they take the bad guy into the forest and they kill him. And it's a really dark but awesome ending. So the book is a lot better. Return of the Mummy sucks. It's in the F tier. I mean, what else do you want me to say? It is better than... Or no, it's not. So that's the worst one. Return of the Mummy so far.
Wow.
Very boring. Very bland. Terrible main characters. They did a huge disservice to the main characters of the Mummy story, the two Mummy stories. And the worst part about it is that out of the two Mummy books, you have one good one and one bad one. And they chose to adapt the bad one. So that kind of sucks. Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes, that's a B. It's okay. It's kind of goofy though.
Well, they sure seem to be important in these Goosebumps movies. Did they show them in both ones?
I just think it's because it's easy to do them. You know, like you don't have to put a lot of effort into like let's say Monster Boy. The Creeps, calling all creeps, like, you know, you'd have to make creep masks for that, and so that'd be really hard to do. Say cheese and die again. That is a F. That is the third worst episode so far. Really stupid story. A really stupid book too, though. Like, the book sucks. And the episode does nothing to improve the book. Like, in my opinion, this would be another book to redo. Because, like, they had a chance to improve on the bad book. And instead, they made something that's, like, probably even worse. Because, at least in the book, you had the really dark twist at the end. Where the teacher takes the selfie of him in the class. So, Say Cheese and Die, that's an A-tier episode. You know, it's got Ryan Gosling in his first role, or one of his first roles.
Just a kid.
And it's kind of dark, it's kind of mysterious, and it's kind of creepy. And but it's just not S-tier. Shocker on Shock Street is another B-tier episode. Is
that the one with the praying mantis, the giant praying mantis?
On the cover.
Yeah, but it's not really.
Yeah, it's not in the book.
Not in the book. So that was a big creature in Goosebumps 2, right? Or 1? Either one.
Number 1.
Yeah, and that's right.
I think I have a piece of spinach stuck in my teeth. Ew. Ew.
Gross.
I know.
Ew.
So, Shocker on Shock Street. This episode is just kind of... It could have been a lot better. But I feel like it's still a lot of fun. You know, like, I love the effects in this episode. I love all the masks and things. I thought that was cool. I'm not a fan of the twist at the end, though, so... It's right there in the B tier. How I Got My Shrunken Head. That episode is a goofy. Let's put it in the D tier at the top. You know, that's the one where the main kid, he has special powers if he says, Kaya!
Oh, God.
Kaya! Kaya!
Weird.
What do you think of that?
What's that supposed to be, an Egyptian god or something?
No, I don't know. It's Kalia. You have to say it like, Kaya! And it's like, this is really goofy. And this kid goes to the forest all by himself. He's a 12-year-old kid. And he's allowed to travel to the forest by himself in the middle of South America or something to meet his aunt. But his aunt has been kidnapped and she's held captive somewhere. So you have this 12-year-old kid. He's all by himself. And he's hanging out with the girl from Stay Out of the Basement. But she has blonde hair and she looks really gross now because I don't understand what happened with her. Like, that was really bizarre. Like, as a kid, I was like, what the hell? Like, what happened to her? Like, what did they do to her? She looks almost as bad as, like, a monster in the show. Right, Safi?
It's what she did to herself.
I don't know. So, speaking of her, Stay Out of the Basement is an S-tier episode. I would put it...
Yeah.
Above Be Careful What You Wish For. And that one is still, like, genuinely, it has a lot of scare, suspense. I really felt like it was a good horror episode. It's one of the few episodes of the show where I feel like, even as an adult, you could find something at least kind of creepy about it. And
that would have been good for a primetime episode.
I know.
I think that's what kids wished for at that time, is that they would have had another year or so at Halloween and primetime. The first one was Haunted Mask. The next year it was Haunted Mask 2. And I think they would have enjoyed having more prime time. And that would have been a good prime time episode on Halloween.
Strained peas is
What is it?
Strained peas. It is better than It Came From Beneath the Sink, but this is bad. It's really bad. You know, the short story that this is based on is very good because it's a comedic episode. You can tell that it's supposed to be for comedy, but in the episode they try to take it seriously, and it's all about an evil baby and the brother, you know, and it's just really, really bad. I hate this episode. It sucks. Terrible. Now, Teacher's Pet, there's not really much to say about that except for rest in peace to the actress who died after the episode, but like, right there in the D tier. There's just not much to say about that one. I mean, it's nothing like the book, and it's just not that good to begin with. So The Blob That Ate Everyone, that one's fun. I'll put that at the very bottom of the B tier because just like the book, there was a lot of missed opportunities in that episode. And I did like one of the actors, though. I didn't like the look of the blob, though, so that sucked. Now, Cuckoo Clock of Doom, that's one of my all-time favorites, so I'm going to put that below Perfect School. That episode is really good because, like, basically the main villain of that episode is a little sister, this eight-year-old girl who's, like, pure evil. You know, Tara the Terrible. Remember her?
Yep.
You like Tara the Terrible?
No.
No. And then next up is The Girl Who Cried Monster. Now, I just watched that. I give that an A. And it was kind of good, but then it got really goofy at the end. It had some genuinely good, like, suspense, some scares in the midst of the episode, but when it got to that end, it got really goofy. The Haunted Mask 1 is obviously S tier, but I'm going to surprise everyone and put it at the very bottom of the S tier. So what do you think about that?
Shocking.
Why?
Because it's so good.
It's good, but these other episodes I think are better. So it just has to be there. But it does have a good Halloween-y vibe, though. It's a great Halloween-y episode. And Carly Beth is really cool. Wouldn't she be one of the ones you'd want to meet, Safi? Meet and take a picture with her with the haunted mask on? That'd be pretty fun. Right?
I suppose
so.
So.
Would you want to do that, Safi?
I don't know.
What else would you want to do? Who else would you want to meet?
If I were you.
Okay. Who else would you want to meet? Would you want to meet Slappy? I would. Wouldn't that be fun to see Slappy in person?
We did have a living dummy doll. I don't know what happened to it.
I played with him too much.
Okay. Well, I remember he did get worn out.
Yeah, he had the stuffing that... His stuffing just kept coming out of his body, like in his arms, like he would just start splitting open because he was so cheaply made. You know, so I think I threw him out because I just played with them too much. The Headless Ghost. That one is at the top of the D tier. Just not really that good. The book was terrible, so it's just not really good. The House of No Return, that's like a C tier. That's it's a clever short story, but I really didn't think that it needed to be an episode. You know, it was really not worth making as a full Goosebumps episode, in my opinion. The Scarecrow Walks at Midnight, that one's a lot of fun. I would put that above Shock Street and Phantom and Calling All Creeps, because this is another episode where as a kid it was kind of creepy. especially the scene at night where the scarecrows are like knocking on the windows and the doors. That was really, really creepy and scary. But it's pretty good. It's got some good music too. Vampire Breath, which we watched, I would put that at the very top of the C tier because it is a very fun episode. It is a huge improvement over the book, but it still could have been a lot better. Werewolf Skin, I would put it right underneath Horrorland. It's another great story, and I think it is the best werewolf story of Goosebumps out of the episodes. But still, it has some goofiness in it that kind of holds it down from being really, really good in the S tier. But it had great music and great effects. Like, I think one of my favorite parts was at the end when the two bullies get grabbed by the werewolves. Like, that was always really scary as a kid. And I really thought that the house was creepy, you know, where the parents or the aunt and uncle would change into the skins. Like, that was a really creepy, like, haunted house type place. Welcome to Camp Nightmare is one of the best ones. I would put that probably I would put it above Be Careful What You Wish For, because this episode is really rewatchable. And it's another one with a really great main character. Even though he is kind of a white knight character, he is a really smart character. And it was also, in my opinion, one of the darker episodes of the show, because it really did seem like the kids were getting killed at this camp. And also you have Counselor Larry. He's really hilarious, and they didn't have him in the book, so, you know, that was really good. Welcome to Dead House. That is another S tier, but I'll put it at the very bottom of the S tier. It's another very dark and creepy episode, but it is not as dark and creepy as the book. So,
really?
It's just not as good as the book.
Wow.
I mean, in the book, it's really almost kind of for adults. I mean, the book really could have been like an R-rated adult horror movie if they turned it into a movie like they wanted to.
Oh.
The Werewolf of Fever Swamp, I would give an A. I would put it.
Well, they know how he knew how to do werewolf books then.
Yeah. I put it above. Well, actually, the Werewolf Skin book was terrible.
Okay.
And it was one of the ones where he had to have ghostwriting help it. So, you know, that was not a good book. But Werewolf of Fever Swamp, this is a great episode, but I think I've only seen it like twice. Like, it's really not like a rewatchable episode, but it is very creepy. It's a good story, and it's pretty good. The last one is You Can't Scare Me. And boy, oh boy, did they really improve on the book with this episode, because the book is one of the worst books of the series. Mm. So I would put this... I'm going to put it in the A tier, because they really improved on the book. I really liked all the actors in this episode. I liked the story. I thought that it was overall really a decent episode. It wasn't really an A tier episode. It was really more of a B minus. But just for the fact that they improved on the book, I put it in the A tier. So, Safi?
Yeah.
Looks like you've fallen asleep.
My neck hurts. It's stiff. I'm trying to get it.
Go really quickly through your stupid Saw video thing.
Well, do you really want to hook this onto Goosebumps?
Well, it's just because I don't want to have to do another video.
Okay, well, these are all my favorite Saw ladies. Okay, the last one, number 10, is the reporter girl, and this is Saw 6, and she's the insurance guy's sister. She had a fairly big part, and she's fine. Number 9 is the girl who is overly fascinated with saw traps, a weird part. Saw 8. 8
It's
is...
Jigsaw.
Okay, Jigsaw. 8 is wife of the bad partner in Spyro, and who was in the movie for like 5 seconds. Okay. Number 7 is Amanda, who... This is the one where it's more like I think it's more like a flashback thing. I'm not positive. She's with the crack guy, and she survives her trap. What happens is, she is partly responsible for Jill's miscarriage. That's Saw 7.
But Jigsaw doesn't know about that.
Yeah.
So if I don't know which version you're talking about, but...
Well, it says Saw 7.
Well,
I wrote this several weeks ago.
She's not in Saw 7.
Okay, I don't know which one. I must have...
In Saw 6, she's in flashback, and I thought you put her in the low tier, so...
I'm not... That's an unsure one. So,
okay.
Okay, number 6 is the police chief in Spyro.
Oh, the... Spiral? Not Spyro.
Saw 9.
Spiral.
She gets her face melted off. Okay, number 5 is Saw 10, and this is that Norwegian doctor.
Yeah.
She's very Scandinavian. I mean, you probably wouldn't even have to hear her talk to know she's Scandinavian.
What types of Scandinavian treats would you eat with her?
I don't know.
Why not?
The hell if I know. Probably I think some kind of cookie. Or something. I don't know. She's very pretty, but she's the most evil of probably any of the villains. Because she's pretending to help, and she's a doctor, and she screws everybody over for money. Number 4 is Amanda from Saw 2, who helps the detective's son, who is why he was put in the saw trap, or saw, whatever you would call it, situation with all those other people is beyond my comprehension, because he didn't deserve it. It was more like against the father. Okay, number 3 is the surgeon who's in Saw 3, who briefly saves Jigsaw's life, and then Amanda shoots her. She was in a trap too, and the trap ends up exploding on her head. So if she didn't die from the shooting, she died from the trap. 2 more. Number 2 is the wife of the liar, who was in...
Oh, the innocent wife who got the worst death of the series.
Yes.
Yeah.
She didn't deserve to be there at all. She didn't know what her husband was lying. He pretended like he was in a saw trap. He wrote a book about it, made money, even had like support groups. And it was all a lie. And she got put in a horrible trap, and she died a horrible death. And the number 1 is the surgeon's wife from Saw 1, who stood up for herself, fought for her life and that of her daughter.
Ew.
And if they hadn't done that, they could have
She
died.
was like, Soppy, she was nowhere near a 10 out of 10.
Oh, please. I just thought it was really hard, and she really tried hard to survive the trap. And her daughter, I mean, weren't they just tied up? Or, I can't remember. I thought they were hooked onto a bomb or something.
So you're saying that instead of her children, you'd like to be tied up with her?
What the hell are you talking about?
You'd like to be tied up with her.
I just thought, it just seemed like all these people, they get stuck in the saw traps, men and women, and they would just panic and panic and panic and not really think. But they have to think fast, that's the thing. And it depends on how evil or bad they are, and they're not all evil and horrible people either. So, anyway, I thought she was the best one. And that's it.
Well,
those are my good Saw.
And what's your food review for her? Because remember, that was part of it too.
Marco, I get it.
Cause she's like a.
Oh, I know.
She's like a 6.
Sugar
like
cookies.
Oh.
Sugar cookies with
Now,
orange sugar.
What would be
and
your?
lots of butter.
What would lots of butter? Why is that?
Because in sugar cookies you can make butter cookies and then sugar. You could either make a frosting or put sugar on.
Well, what would you like to put on her cookies?
I don't know. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up.
Wait, I have to time it perfectly. So, okay, you just... Or you end it. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Or just 1, 2, or like, please, ready, set, or subscribe.
And
or you didn't say Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everybody. I hope you enjoy.